So this is going to be another video making how-tos and best build orders for Nova this time. I do like to show the mastery points. I will go over them really quickly. Nuke and Holo Decoy, although they are powerful things, I feel like this is a better use of your money or better use of your mastery points, just so that you can get off a couple more airstrikes. These you can use at any point where this has a specific cooldown and Nova needs to be in the area. So if you're in an area pushing something and an attack wave comes from behind, you can always use the Griffin airstrike to deal with that if you can't get back. Combat unit attack speed is so much more than Nova attack speed. You have pretty awesome units here, and you're going to get a lot more DPS out of this. And then some people like to put a little bit here and then most of it here. I just like to go straight into unit life regeneration. You will get a couple more casts of spells if you put a little here, but I find this is going to be the best thing just to keep your army alive. I'm just going to do Rips to Coral here. One of the things I like to do with Nova is mech builds. And what I mean by mech is Goliaths, tanks, and Ravens, and then I'll throw in Liberators if I ever find myself a little extra gas. But not absolutely necessary. What I've been doing lately is going, instead of Goliaths at the beginning, which you can rush to immediately if you just want to do that, I like to get a couple Marines out, or one set of Marines, to take out the rocks a little bit faster, and I go for my gases first, and then I go for my main rocks. That way you have access to gas, which is basically your limiting region for this entire thing. You're going to find yourself on a little bit less gas, and you're always going to find yourself maybe waiting for the gas for tanks. You're going to be waiting for the gas for maybe Ravens, Liberators, stuff like that, or maybe even Ghosts if you want to go Ghosts. So getting your Expo gases first and then getting the CC usually helps you get all the tech out you want. You don't have to worry about supply depots as with Nova. Everyone should know that by now. But I will go for my my gases first.
Amon's troops have taken the city. They're summoning void shards everywhere. Once they activate, those shards will decimate Augustgrad. We need to destroy each of them before that happens. Don't let me down.
So this first one can actually go straight to the barracks, but I just like to get in the habit of always sending them back to work immediately.
Don't got the minerals.
And just make sure you're staying on top of all your SCV production. Don't stop that. I'm going to rally Nova over here. So this is one of the missions where Nova doesn't come out in time to deal with the first attack wave. And I specifically chose this mission because I find it actually will show off, like, you can basically deal with anything with Nova. You're always going to have the ability to get out your Marines when you need them to, or your Goliaths, or any initial first unit. Again, at this point, just staying on top of all my production. Don't want to lose anything like that. Making sure I get everything hotkeyed. Nova is rallied to the front. Nova is not the best for taking out rocks, so I like I said, try to get Marines. As soon as this is done being saturated, that's when I'll go ahead and start rallying to the Expo. Okay, I'm going to have the ability to drop my Marines real soon. And you can always drop a defensive drone if you need to, which I usually like to do anyways.
Hostile Protoss on the battlefield.
Alright. So I've already got an SCV coming over here, and I'm just going to continue to rally all the rest of them to the mineral line. I do have a little bit of time before I get my rocks down, so I will go ahead and deal with that.
You gonna give me orders?
SCV ready.
I wanted to make sure they were in range to do what I needed them to do. At this point, I will make a couple more SCVs, but not a ton. And then I'll have Nova to deal with all of the rest of the next couple attack waves. That one done. one ready to go.
Do try to stay out of my way.
Now back to it.
I like to only use my
Our allies are under attack.
my bracks here to make a couple tech labs, but that's really about it. This first one here should be able to go right over to deal with that. You can start getting some Nova upgrades basically whenever you want. They're so cheap, especially at the later stages, so don't ever feel like, oh no, I better save up for it, because it's really not necessary.
Add-on complete.
Now that that's done, I'm going to rally my whole army over here,
A void shard's been
and
reported
then make sure I
outside
get
your
all of my
landing point.
stuff on
That's your
control
first
groups,
objective.
and then I'll start.
Best of luck
Pretty
out
much
there.
now, I'm going to start making all my tanks, everything else I'd like to have.
Its obliteration will soon be
But I have to wait a little bit for my mineral income to get to where I need it to be, but I have basically every
dares to attack our
tech
base.
structure except for upgrades, and I'll get those in just a minute.
Henry, confirm that last. Consider it.
I honestly prefer to stay in this mode, at least for the first 2 attack waves, sometimes the 3rd. It is better to switch a little bit closer to where your enemies are going to spawn, but you know, you can't get there as fast.
Status report. Say again.
And almost ready for
Nova here.
tanks.
We need more minerals.
It should be almost saturated by the time the X4 even gets up for the first time.
And that's how it's done.
Now is basically the time where you decide if you want to rush any of these upgrades or you want to get
Numerous void shards detected. We need to destroy them ASAP.
some armories, which I like to kind of focus, at least getting one armory out right away so that I can get any upgrade I need. Alright, let's cancel that
Nova
last
here.
one.
Say again.
So now I'm at full saturation.
I'm reading you.
I can go and siege up if I want. I like to prioritize Ravens too. They are a really important part of this, and I always put them on their own control group. You don't want them running off and being idiots. I like to prioritize Raven upgrades as well, but you know, you get to basically make anything you want to make. You have the gas now to deal with it. I'm going to start warping in some Goliaths. And again, the
Confirm that last.
Marines are pretty much just there.
Nova here.
Destroy these cowards. Upgrade complete. Upgrade complete. Not enough energy.
Right now, I don't want to get too far in.
Foolish enemies seek to storm my base.
Else. Let's get back to work and then get some more upgrades.
Nova here.
Right now I can go ahead and get the rest of the upgrades I want for my Goliaths, Ravens, all that good stuff. And then we're just waiting for cooldowns at this point. And this is the cool thing about Nova, is you're always going to be able to,
Got it.
Our allies are
Time to
under
play
attack.
defense.
Your forces are under attack.
you're always going to be able to get all the units that you want if you start off with your gases first. So you'll have enough to get tanks and Goliaths right now.
Can't. Need more minerals for that.
Oh yeah, well as soon as I get the minerals.
Confirm that last. Bringing a defensive drone online.
Ravens. And again, starting with your gases is probably the most important thing you can do if you want to get any units you want.
Nova here.
That.
Nuclear warhead
Last
armed
one,
and ready.
and then the last upgrade for my Ravens. So tanks have higher DPS when they're on single target,
Shards, and we
or
keep
they're not
sending them back.
in
Was
siege
there
mode.
ever any doubt?
Go ahead.
And pretty much now you're just waiting for cooldowns. You've got your army set up the way you want it. You've got all your tech structures. You could always add another one of these if you wanted to. But I'm not super worried about rushing out those upgrades, at least defensive ones.
Say again.
I'm going to go ahead and set up my siege tanks here.
Enemy Enemy combatants in motion.
so that I can start
They're
taking care of the
headed our
bonus
way.
as soon as it shows up.
On the move.
I will go ahead and, well, I don't even. I honestly don't even like to use the Griffin Airstrike too often. I find that making more units is usually more powerful. But I like having it available if I need it.
Executed. En route.
I'm gonna keep these guys
Those
here.
Chimeran pirates are trying to
And I'll go
steal
ahead and
from us
deal with
during an attack on the city. I'd appreciate it if you could exterminate them.
the bonus. Again, we're still waiting for
I'm
cooldowns.
reading you. Acknowledged. Opening fire.
Not enough energy.
Got it.
I'm not super worried about the millions.
Piracy in the skies
Let's go
above
deal with
Coral.
this over here.
Not on my watch.
And move the tanks back into the control group.
I'm reading. Got it.
You can always ask your partner to chrono the factory, but I'm not going to do that because I want to pretend like this build doesn't have anybody extra.
Time to call down the thunder with the defensive drone. Say again. Status report. Acknowledged.
And now you just push. Making sure you set up your siege tanks, drop your widow mines, or sorry, spider mines. Move forward.
You will pledge your power.
Defensive drone initiated.
There.
All out of energy. Our allies are under attack.
Hostile forces are
See, this is again where I like to have the Griffin Airstrike, so that I can basically drop this
You've neutralized another
whenever I
void
need
shard.
to,
Well done.
and the widow mine should take care of the rest.
Our allies are under
Except
attack.
for the couple
Got
areas.
forces under attack out there.
And then I'll just go ahead and use the Griffin to take care of getting back.
must not
Our
compensate for
allies'
your
base is under
weakness.
fire.
It'll take more than a few void shards to defeat the Dominion.
Expect nothing less. of the
Take care of the
power.
bonus now.
Things are almost back under control. This is the last group of void shards. Let's take back our city.
And have another Raven.
Nova here. Loud.
I always like having my
Upgrade complete. Need more gas for that.
my tanks on their own control group, or not own control group, a control group as well as the main. I feel that really does help to make it so you can siege them, unsiege them, do whatever you need to do. I'm gonna bring these back for a minute and drop a bunch of spider mines.
Don't got the minerals.
Confirm that last.
And again, just wait for cooldowns.
I'm reading you.
Upgrade complete.
Executing.
Go ahead and go.
Okay, siege
Status
here.
report.
Actually, I think we have a long time before the bonus even shows up, so
I'm reading you. Need something liberated?
I'm gonna leave these guys over here so I can work that location wherever I need to.
Our allies are under attack.
Go push the last stage over here.
Hostile sighted inbound on our base.
Upgrade complete.
Activating defensive drone. On the move. Confirm that last. En route.
State your request.
Say again.
Make sure you keep your ravens
Strict
following
business.
if you have them on
Our
your own
allies
control
are
group.
under attack.
Loud and clear.
And I always like to spam a couple turrets in the front, soak up some damage. Let's keep in mind you can spam a bunch of seeker missiles.
Confirm that last. Got it. Seems like we could use a defensive drone. Loud. Got it. again?
I think the bonus finally shows up at around
Drone online.
1845 or something close to that. Here, drop some spider mines.
Wretched pirates are about to get a hell of a lot more than they bargained for. Take them out.
Forces are under attack. Our
I
allies are
see
under
your
attack.
reputations are well earned. These void shards are dropping like flies.
Oh, day's work.
That's the thing about the Dominion. Even in a crisis,
Do-
our rule of law
Or
holds
these
firm.
guys. You basically can make everything or 3 different sets of units at any given time.
Our allies are under attack.
Just making sure that you start off with your gas. If you don't start off with your gas, then you're not really going to have access to all this that you'd like.
Got a new prime to launch.
Void shard eliminated. Keep it up.
Perhaps now we can move on to a real fight.
That's all of the void shards. The city is ours. You hear that, Amon? The Dominion is
Not too
so
bad, not too
easily
bad.
defeated.
And so that gas burst basically works for everything, except for necessarily if you wanted to go bio. If you're going bio, you don't necessarily need to go gas first, because you're going to be making Marines that have absolutely no need for gas. Their upgrades are a little bit cheaper. Like I said, not the biggest deal. I still like to go gas first because I like Ravens. I like adding as much as I can on top of that. But anyways, I'm Hunter A5. Thanks so much for watching.